What's up, Cyberhawks? So in today's video, we're going to be going over the good, the bad, the ugly of cybersecurity, or mostly the SOC analyst side of cybersecurity. I was actually about to start watching this video, and I'm like, you know what? It would be great if I watch this video with you guys live, and then kind of just give my thoughts on this. Do I agree with his goods? Do I agree with the bad? Do I agree with the ugly? And kind of just share my perspective and being in cybersecurity and being in a analyst style of a job or position, and see if it compares to him. And in the comments, you guys can definitely let me know too if any of this compares to you as well. So yeah, here's the guy's YouTube channel too. Let me just bring that up if you guys want to check out some of the other videos. Forever Anonymous. I'm definitely intrigued to see what type of videos you're gonna end up having on the channel. So I'll go ahead and send him a sub, like the vid, and yeah, let's go ahead and get right into it.
This was requested multiple times by one person. Like, they really wanted me to make a video about this, and I love requests, and I do get to them all eventually. So here it is. I'm actually very excited to.
Okay, we're gonna just skip this intro. We don't need to watch everything. We'll start right here.
It's growing. Year over year, it's growing as organizations start to learn, oh, if we don't take security seriously, we're going to lose a lot of money. So as organizations take security in general seriously, we're going to need more SOC analysts. And I get messages almost daily for people reaching out, hey, we have an open role for this SOC analyst position. Are you available? And typically it's contract work, but regardless, SOC analysts are in high demand.
Okay, yeah. So for the first point of SOC analysts being in demand, I definitely agree with that for sure, especially if you have experience. I feel like you will get like a lot more people like kind of hit you up trying to get into other positions. Ever since I started my job, I have been noticing on LinkedIn and on my email getting even more people who actually look legit and not like those scammers, but who actually look like, you know, from like legit companies in the US hitting me up for different positions since I had the experience. So yeah, I definitely agree with that. When you don't have the experience, you don't really see it because you may be applying to so many different jobs and you're not getting anything. But once you get that experience, then I feel like that's when you actually start becoming really in demand for the most part, because I guess you got the skill set that you made it, you know, X amount of months. So probably easier to train you and, you know, other stuff like that. But let's continue.
The next good is we are constantly learning. Being a SOC analyst is evolving daily. I mean, there are new threats that are out multiple times a day that, to be the best SOC analyst, we're keeping up with. And even outside of threats like malware, we also are at the forefront to learn about new threats in general, like vulnerabilities on softwares and drivers. And this is very rewarding. I mean, I believe all normal functioning people enjoy learning. And I say normal functioning because there was a span of time in my life where I was just lazy and I didn't care to learn new things. But if we're out of that, we want to learn, right? If you are not growing, you're decaying. Now, the final good I want to speak about is...
Okay, so yeah, let's go ahead and talk about the second good point. Yeah, that's definitely true. You are definitely learning a lot, man. Every single like week or month, I'm like constantly learning new things. And yeah, like my manager or other people will like hit me up with like new articles, or hitting the security team up with like new articles on new things that are, you know, being out there that, you know, for us to like, you know, take a look at and whatnot, malware wise, you know, it's the different attacks, different places getting attacked, and, you know, kind of just keeping an eye out on that and seeing what type of attacks that they're getting hit with, so that we're prepared just in case of anything like that happens to us. And, you know, just to get that extra knowledge. And that's definitely true. Also, too, like learning new software. That's another big thing there as well. I've learned several different programs that I had no idea about until I actually started this position. So yeah, and it was like, I feel like every month now, or maybe every like few weeks. It seems like it's like there's like another software that I'm being, I guess, given access to, so then I can play around with. So then I can use that as well, during like any type of investigations and whatnot. So yeah, it's definitely a lot of learning. Definitely a lot of learning. So if you want a job that you're not learning anything new, I don't believe cyber is a job for you. But if you're willing to learn, new things and XYZ, I think this can be great. Now, if you now, I guess maybe there's one maybe position, maybe like the GRC. I don't really know too much about that, like what their day-to-day tasks are. Maybe on that one, it may be less, since it's less technical, maybe there's less to learn daily or monthly. So maybe on that one, if you want to get in cyber but not have to learn like super a lot every single day or every single week, maybe the GRC route may be better. But yeah, overall, there's a lot of there's a lot of different things to learn, and even if you're not learning like new programs or different things of that nature, or like learning about new like malware and viruses and people getting hacked or attacked, like the software that you use will get updated, and there'll be new things like that will be updated that you can then use the software for. So it's like you're constantly learning things like that. Also too, there's so like some of the software that we're using, like there's so many different things, like so many different buttons, so many different menus. So it's like it's even just playing around with just that, it can take you a long time to really get used to everything. So yeah, if you're not looking at threats and like people getting attacked and like different types of attacks and whatnot, just learning different programs and learning the inside outs of just one singular program can definitely be a lot, but it's definitely fun. So let's go ahead and see the third one. Third good he's talking about.
The salary and the benefits. So the job I came from before becoming a SOC analyst, I was making like half of the money. And to pivot into become a SOC analyst, I just put in 6 months of hard work. I have no degree. I just put in 6 months of hard work. I also have a roadmap of how I did that, and I'll put that somewhere over here, the link that is. And the salary is great. I mean, I'm making double what I was making, and the benefits are great as well. I'll actually talk about the scheduling for being a SOC analyst. That's very interesting. So the current schedule I have is I work 2 days a week, and then the next week I work 5 days a week. And then that happens over and over again. Each shift is 10 hours long. Now, when I was interviewing, I also interviewed at an organization where their schedule was that they work 7 days a week and then they're off 7 days the next week. This is a great segue to the bad.
Okay, all right. So he kind of talked about two, I guess, points right there at the end. First off, the the position, like it being like what 5 days or 4 days on, like 4 days, 3 days, or 7 days, etc. Maybe 10 days here, take off a few days, and then come back another 10 days. So yeah, they definitely got different scheduling. I guess he's about to talk about the negative side of the scheduling, but they can be positive as well. Like depending on if you prefer like having just 4 days in, 4 days out, or 4 days in, 3 days out, something like that. That could be good for you. You might like the extra time. Additionally, like with some of these SOC positions, if they're like 24/7, then you may have the opportunity to work at night. Now that sucks if you don't want to work at night, but they can be good if you do want to work at night. So, kind of just play it by ear there. I know for myself personally, I'll apply to all morning, midday, and night. I was going to apply to any so I can get into cybersecurity. So yeah, maybe in your first job you may have to take the grave shift, but you can use that experience to then apply to another job, or maybe you do so good in that grave shift to then be able to progress to like regular 9 to 5 or 8 to 5 type of position at your job. The other thing he talked about was the amount of money, making more money in cyber versus his other jobs. Yeah, the salaries can definitely be great in cybersecurity. Even as a SOC analyst, you can do very well. I'm not going to say you're going to start out making 100K, especially not nowadays. I'm not going to say like that's going to be the normal. Can it happen? Sure. Um, you will probably be more likely for it to happen if you live in a higher cost living area, just for the fact that they're probably paying more because again, you're paying more to actually live in that area. You got more taxes, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, you living in LA, in Cali, your salary probably would be higher than if you were like in Texas or in like another state. But again, if you put in the differences in cost of livings and XYZ, then they may balance out. But yeah, the salaries can definitely be good. I definitely attest to that. And again, if your first job, you're not getting paid like super well, like maybe you thought you were going to, you're still able to gain that experience. So then when you apply to your next job, then for sure, hopefully you'll be able to make, bigger bucks that you were thinking you're going to end up making. But yeah. Let's go ahead and see what the bad stuff. I'm definitely intrigued to see what you're going to say on this.
So here we go. The bad. Alert fatigue.
Mm,
What is alert fatigue? Okay, so as a SOC analyst, you have a queue and you are working these queues. Okay, you have your alerts in the queue, you pick up an alert, you investigate it, you escalate it if need be, or you remediate it yourself. So this is an all day thing. You pick up, investigate it, do what you need to, move to the next one, and the next, and the next, and the next, and the next, all day, every day. Now, if you are a person that cannot help but give it your all, like whatever I do, I give it my all. Okay. If you're a person like that, you need to learn to tone it down. I was at a point where I had the highest number of alerts worked in the whole organization.
mm,
And this was for the span of like 6 months. Needless to say, I was exhausted. And we need to learn to slow it down, maybe be a bit more thorough on the investigation if you can, and include some small details. But that is the first bad, alert fatigue. There is a lot to do and you're always doing it.
Okay, yeah. So I can definitely see where he's coming from on that. My, I guess, position, I'm not necessarily doing that like all day, but I do understand getting those alerts and when like an alert pop up happen out with XYZ. So yeah, I definitely feel them there. I can just imagine doing that all day, every single week. But then again, actually for me, it probably would be fun because I like doing that as well. But yeah, maybe after a while, I can definitely see that fatiguing somebody. So yeah, I definitely understand that. But yeah. Now I'm definitely intrigued to learn more about how his position different from mine. If you guys are in cyber right now and you're like in an analyst role, but not necessarily at a SOC, I definitely want to hear your experience too in the comments because it is going to differ. He's in a SOC, so obviously that's pretty much what we're going to be doing. If I'm not mistaken, a SOC is security. Dang, you know what? Let me just actually Google this real quick. What does SOC? Oh wow, it's giving me SIC. What is the SOC? Okay, they're really not giving me the definition. Yeah, Security Operations Center. Okay, I'm like they're giving me everything but that, giving me actual SOCs. Well, okay, yeah, Security Operations Center. So yeah, um, I'm not exactly sure what type of SOC he's working in. I'm assuming since he's doing it all day for months, probably like an office or whatever. That's probably 24/7 as well. And yeah. I can just imagine. I can just imagine that fatigue there for sure. But let's go ahead and see the second negative he's gonna say.
Now, the second bad, and this is kind of going off of the third good, which was the scheduling that I had included there. To be a SOC analyst, there is 24/7 monitoring. So if you are not on the night shift indefinitely, you will definitely rotate into it at some point and have to be on the night shift for 3 months or more or less, depending on your organization. Now, that might not be a negative to some people, but I know most people want a solid, consistent schedule. And as a SOC analyst, from what I've seen, you do not get that. Of course, I'm sure there are specific positions where you are constantly 9 to 5 or constantly 5 to however, so on and so forth. But from what I've seen, that is not the case. Now, the third bad, which this is not a bad.
Okay, yeah, and we kind of addressed that, which is funny talking about the night shift and it being 24/7. So yeah, I was right on that. And yeah, for some people that could be good, some people it could be negative. For me, that probably would be a positive. I don't mind, trying out some nighttime here and there, if I had to. Like I was willing to. Thankfully, I guess I was able to not have to worry about that. But hey, maybe my next position it may be the case. But I'm open for it. I'm still grinding, still learning. I'm ready to get that experience. If I do have to work night shifts, so be it. But yeah, that can also be a negative if you do prefer morning time, or like you said, having a consistent schedule, something that you can have for the whole year versus you're already changing like every 2 or 3 months. Yeah, that can be bad, especially you have like kids and different stuff like that. Then that can also kind of affect how you manage that too. So yeah, those are all valid points.
Bad for me, but for a lot of people, I can definitely see it. That is the limit to human interaction.
Mm.
Now, if you are working remotely as a SOC analyst, obviously you're at home. So you're only going to be limited to where you are. A way around this would be to work at like a library and just use their Wi-Fi or your own hotspot, which is preferred. And even if you are in the SOC, you are not going to be really conversing with too many people. Now, you can, of course, speak with your coworkers, and we do that a lot. And sometimes it's too much for me, and I'm like, hey, leave me alone. But for the most part, it's really just you investigating, and you are in your own zone. So now we're going to get to the ugly.
Okay, yeah. So I just want to touch on I'm fortunate that my coworkers are like great. Like we talk enough, but it doesn't seem like bad. It doesn't seem like anybody's like getting on anybody's nerves. I feel like it's like just a perfect amount. Like, man, like it's crazy kind of just thinking about that now, comparing this job to like other jobs. Like it's like literally the perfect amount of talking and not having to talk. Like really the perfect amount. And also too, yeah, like in this position, you will, or being an analyst in general, I guess a lot of the like technical jobs like this, you will be more like in your own zone, doing your own investigations, checking out this site, this site, this site, going through menus and configurations and different things of that nature by yourself and kind of just making notes and solving things and, in that way. So, yeah, that's definitely true there. And that can be negative depending on who you are as a person. And, again, depending on the position that you're in. He said, sometimes some of his coworkers are talking to him too much, so that can be a negative way. Maybe for somebody else, that could be super positive. So, it just depends on you and also the position that you're in or what company that you're in.
And the first one I want to bring up, the ugly, is as a SOC analyst, that's really your projection. So in order to move into any other place in security, unless you're doing management, you need to really be learning a lot outside of the job. And I know that was a pro at first, but there's so much to learn that it's kind of like analysis paralysis, right? Where there's so much to learn that you're like, where do I start, or what should I prioritize, right? And for example, if you're trying to transition into a penetration tester role, you are going to have a hard time if you were just a SOC analyst. You will need to be studying for something like the OSCP in your free time, and that's incredibly demanding. So the transitioning from a SOC analyst to other positions in the security realm could be a bit ugly. Second ugly,
Okay.
which is something I've been.
Okay, I can see that actually. That actually kind of makes sense. Yeah. I can actually. Yeah. I can see that. Let me just go back real quick.
It's kind of like analysis.
Okay, yeah. So the first thing, analysis paralysis. Like there's so much different things to learn. And then if you want to transition from your current position to another position, like a whole different type of role. Yeah, I can definitely see that as being a lot. Like again, you're a SOC analyst, you're kind of just doing X, Y, Z, and then transitioning from just those type of investigations to now, attacking, trying to attack and use other software that's in the red team side of things versus the uh, blue side of the man, I can't even pronounce it correctly. The blue side of things on the defensive side. Yeah, there's like different software and different methodologies and a lot of different stuff, a lot of different certifications on different sides. So yeah, there's a difference there. Um, I guess this is for SOC analysts. For me, I am fortunate that how my position is, I'm able to learn a lot of what the security engineers are doing and able to help out with that. So I am fortunate on that. Some of the other positions that I was also applying to, like I had one at GameStop, for example, that I was applying to that they were going to like have us like every other week allow us to pick a project or pick what type of role that we would want to like grow in and like have like a full week of that pretty much. So I thought that was pretty cool. And I have been seeing that with some of the other companies I've been applying to as well. So they weren't necessarily SOC analyst jobs. They were more just cyber security analyst jobs. So it wasn't at a SOC. So if you're just looking at a SOC analyst position, then yeah, you will probably get stuck in that sense that he's in, having to study a lot on the side. However, if you're just in a analyst position in general, depending on the company, of course, you probably will be able to learn a lot more of the other roles, like the engineering side of things or the red team hacking side of things. So yeah, kind of just an FY on that, depending on what you're kind of focusing in on. If you just like the SOC side of things and you want to stay with that, hey, you can keep applying to just the SOC analyst type of roles. But if you don't mind like learning outside of just the SOC environment, you don't mind learning again, like on the security engineering side and other things of that nature, then hey, maybe just a cyber analyst job in general may be the best bet for you so that you're able to grow. And when you're studying different things, you're like, oh, okay, I did a little bit of this here, do a little bit of this there. So it's kind of easier for you to, I guess, learn it. At least for me, having more hands-on just allows me to learn things kind of just better. But let's go ahead and see the second ugly he's talking about.
Could be a bit ugly. A second ugly, which is something I've been thinking about a lot, is the potential for AI to take your job. Now, this is something that is happening for a lot of us. I mean, anybody that's watching this, there's a high potential. If you do not think there's a high potential for any and every job, you do not know enough about AI. It's AI is very impressive, okay? And it's only increasing daily. Now, in the same vein, there will always need to be someone analyzing technologies, right? So there would eventually be a SOC analyst for AI. That's the thought process. But a self-regulated SOC AI bot, that doesn't seem too far away to me because I am already kind of programming something to do my job for me. And it's incredibly accurate. And that's the thing too, is humans have emotions and their emotions can sway their investigation. A robot doesn't. Now there's pros and cons to this. We can get into that. That's a whole other video, but that's the second ugly. And the third.
Okay. So the AI taking over. Yeah. Like he said, the first thing that I was gonna say, whenever I hear the AI taking over, then you have to, get in the positions of you controlling the AI. Kind of like when they had like the automation, automations just start taking over, America and whatnot. Like it didn't stop all Americans from never having a job. You had to have people to then help on the machinery and be able to repair that. So that's kind of like the mindset that I'm also in as well for this. And I guess another reason too for you guys to not want to stay in a SOC analyst position, but be willing to grow, be willing to learn more and like learn new things. So by chance, if AI ends up coming over and, starts out with the SOC analyst and kind of start growing from there, you'll already have the experience in like the know-how that you're able to transition to other fields within cyber. Because like there's so many different fields and so many different things within it. But yeah, I don't think AI is gonna like totally take over every single position. It's just having AI just running everybody's companies, everybody's cyber side of things. And I feel like that can be really bad too. Because now you can be a hacker and be like, get really good at maybe hacking in AI or using the AI to hack other AIs. And it can be a lot of stuff like that. So yeah, I say the best way to combat not just AI, but just like automation in general, like throughout history, is kind of just learning, just learning new things, being able to up upsell yourself, upgrade yourself, and just keeping that grind there so that you can position to other positions that you can be the person who controlling the AI, or you'll be in a managerial position that you don't have to worry about that as well, maybe, something along those lines. So yeah, I definitely hear you guys' thoughts on that too in the comments on your current position, if you're in cyber or if you're outside of cyber, and how AI has affected you, or you think AI is going to affect you.
Word ugly. There is a high demand for SOC analysts. Now, what's ugly is most of it is for skilled SOC analysts. And by that, I mean SOC analysts with experience. Okay. The job market sees experience as skilled. I don't make the rules. I'm just in this conglomerate with you. And that's incredibly frustrating as well as disheartening, right? We see these post SOC analysts, so many job openings, but it's like, oh, have 20 years of experience with a CISP. If you don't know, a CISP is a security defensive / management certification that you can only get if you have 5 years of experience in the security realm, and then you need a person that has a CISP to vouch for you. And there's a few other requirements, but it's just like, really, you need a CISP to be a SOC analyst? No, that's ridiculous, truly. But that's ugly, right?
Okay, all right. So that's the last ugly. Yeah, the CISP that he's talking about, I've actually never in my life, out of all the videos I've watched from cybersecurity people who has that certification, I've never heard it called CISP in my life. I've always heard it called CISSP. That is my first time I've ever heard that. That's crazy. That is crazy. Now I wonder if it's like a state thing. I wonder where state he's in, and maybe they call it that in that state. But at least down south, and heck, a lot of the other YouTubers I was watching, I feel like they're not down south. They're like northeast area and whatnot, and they call it the CISSP. The first I've ever heard it called CISP. Interesting. I'm kind of just stuck on that for the last one, but he kind of like addressed what I talked about. Like there's a lot of like what I talked about at the beginning of this, which is funny again, how we're both aligning on this. There is a lot of different positions within SOC, or I mean within cybersecurity, SOC analysts roles, for example, but they're looking for people with experience. So yeah, if you have that experience, in cyber, then it's easier for you to transition, or at least that's what I've been seeing. That's when I'm getting a whole lot more people, contacting me for other roles from like legit companies and not those fake ones, or at least it seems that way. It seems like they're American and American companies, not some of the other stuff I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys have been seeing if you've been applying to a lot of different jobs. But yeah, that experience, there seems like that's the big thing that they're kind of looking for. I guess again to show that you kind of have some experience there. Maybe you may know how to address certain alerts. And yeah, it is different. Like actually doing the alerts and seeing it firsthand, it definitely changes your perspective on things. And yeah, I guess if I did go to another role, I would be able to kind of just address things and be faster on things. However, kind of like a double-edged sword there, because they want people with experience, but they're not really giving people without experience a chance. So if you guys have been on my channel before, I definitely recommend Josh Matacor's course. I'm not even getting paid from that. Maybe I should hit him up and be like, "Hey, I've been talking about your course a lot. Can I get some type of what affiliate link to your course?" You know what? I may have to talk to Josh about that because I talk about his course a lot, but it's good and it allows you to learn a lot. Within Azure, it gives you experience in that regard, being able to create a SOC honeynet, being able to get attacked, document it, defend your defend your honeynet, defend your SOC environment, you know, document that, show the differences between, before and afterwards, what type of tools you've used. You can then go further, like I did, creating a NIST compliant honeynet. And there's like a lot of different things in that. And then on top of that, which is great, there's a internship like component to this. Like after you're done with the course and whatnot, that you can also join in. And with this internship, you can help out other people in setting up their, honey net, helping them out with Azure, troubleshooting XYZ. And with you helping out these people, you're getting experience within Azure, within helping out people, and it just allows you to get better at using the software, and it helps you out too with also gaining experience on your resume. Like, hey, I've been an intern, I've been helping out XYZ amount of people daily or weekly. But then when you talk to recruiters and other people within like that you're getting interviewed by, being able to kind of just address, kind of like some of like your day-to-day things you've done in that internship can really help you out if you have no, experience outside of that internship. It's like, hey, I may not have 5 years working at Google, for example, and they're a SOC analyst job, but hey, in this internship, I've been able to help out X, Y, Z amount of people in this, setting up this environment, setting up these virtual machines, defending this one, learning KQL queries here, and it just helps out a lot. And that's one way you can gain some type of experience that's more easily accessible versus again, applying to thousands of jobs and you may get just one out of that. So yeah, experience is definitely key. That's one big one I recommend. I'm pretty sure there's other ones out there too that you guys can look into. But yeah, that's one that helped me out a lot. Oh yeah, and if you can apply to like summer like internships too, that can be good. Microsoft is pretty good with that. I was able to join the BAM Academy one for Microsoft last year and like learn the basis of Azure. So that kind of helped me out too when I took Josh's course and was playing around with that because I kind of had some like a foundation, which was great. But if you don't have a foundation in Azure or cloud in general, you can still take the course and still learn a lot. Like it isn't like that hard. And like the way he explains it makes it easier to kind of like understand. And again, after you do the full course, if you don't feel confident, you can always take the course again and then again, and then hey, maybe one more time, so you can really hone in everything and be able to like express it when you're like in an interview or whatnot. But yeah, experience is definitely key from what I've been seeing so far within this field. But yeah, guys, it was great looking at this video. I think this is what almost how long have we been on? Almost 30 minutes. We've been on here for a minute. I can't tell that 23 or 33. I'm kind of super small right there on the screen. But anyway, we've been talking for a minute. The video was only 10 minutes, but we've been talking for an extra 20 minutes. If you made it this far, go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And yeah, if you haven't already, definitely leave some comments. I'm definitely intrigued to see if you guys are in cyber or you're not. If you are in cyber, let me know if your position anything similar to this or mine. And if you're not, are you still interested? Definitely intrigued. But anyway, guys, I'll see you in the next one.